Everybody, welcome back to some more Smart Talks. I am here joined by Joe Derochowski of NPD. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to talk about smart and homes and all that type of stuff.
That sounds
and
good.
all the information that you get at the NPD. Let's first talk about the NPD itself, what it does, and what's your role there.
Okay. So the NPD Group, for those of you who don't know, we get all the point of sale information from most of the major retailers, probably 75% of the market. We have a bunch of consumer databases that also track everything you buy that are also part of it. And so we're really a measurement service that retailers use and manufacturers use to understand their share, their trends, what categories going, how they're performing, all of that area. And I have the great job, I get to be a nerd, which is great. I get to play with all this data that we get and across all of NPD, because we cover about $1.9 trillion. So I get not only home data, but all of our food data and our consumption and preparation and you name it. And so it allows me to kind of sit there and say, where are the consumers going? So I spend about 70% of my time speaking to all the DMMs and GMMs at the major retailers on helping them anticipate the future, as well as manufacturers, their CEOs and their staff to help them kind of anticipate where the consumer is heading so that they can help make better products, better plans to help meet the consumer needs.
That is a lot of data.
Yeah.
You are truly a data nerd, which is super fun.
Great. It's great for me.
You call yourself a consumerist, is that right?
I am, and I think my role, or the way I view it, is in my heart of hearts, try to feel how can I help the industry grow, and try to focus on that. But second, in a prior life here, I used to spend a lot of time with the government when Mrs. Obama would have these staffs about how do we how do we solve obesity, how do we deal with this stuff, and I would be often brought in, one as a model of what not to be, and then two, how consumers are supposed to eat. And I would say what people do, and I'd be surrounded by all these people who know what they should do. And oftentimes they would say, well, we got to educate the consumers to eat fruits and vegetables. And I'm like, no, we know that. We don't know how to live it. Right. So when I took this role 4 or 5 years ago, part of my heart is to challenge us as an industry, realizing we're at a unique point in time that we can impact lives for generations. We got to help them figure out how to live this, how to execute living a healthy life. Easier said than done, but we are the group that really are more responsible for this than even the food companies.
That's a great transition, because consumers seem ready for this smart. But is the industry ready?
Yeah, well, I think that's the question. Oftentimes I get asked, is the consumer ready? And I always say, absolutely. And I get sometimes a strange look, like, well, wait a minute, we haven't been successful. I mean, it's 4% of slow cookers are smart, 8% of air purifiers, like, there still hasn't really taken off. So what do you mean by that? And I'm like, wait. I always think of, anybody here have a McLean burger many years ago in the 90s?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody would have one because it was the healthy burger. You're finally going to get it. Everybody ate one, and never ate another because it was awful. Like, they executed.
I can attest, it was terrible.
They executed. I think it's the same thing as an industry. We're still figuring out the execution part of it wrong, but the consumer is ready. And the reason is, we're thinking that smart is a benefit. And really, smart is a reason to believe. The consumer will believe that smart can help them accomplish, but it's what is the benefit? When we think of robotic vacuums, it's more than 50% are smart. Like, it can work, but smart is not a benefit. Smart is a reason to believe. So if it can help me, I always say, does it have an It's replacing a behavior. If it is better, faster, cheaper, healthier, safer, some sort of than the existing behavior, it's got a shot. And it really is solving. When we think about eating, there's an I wish, I hate, I love to everything that you make. Whatever you're making eggs, there's an I wish, I hate, I love. There's making a salad, entertaining guests, there's an I wish, I hate, I love. If the smart can help solve that, it's the reason. It's the reason to believe that is being solved. Absolutely, consumers, they have no doubt in any survey. Do you believe that it can help you do these things? Yes, but it's about the benefit and not the smart.
So speaking of that benefit, are there areas in Housewares where you think it's been successful?
Well, robotic vacuums is
Yep.
work to there, like more than 50% of the time. It's helping control the distance and the map. It's providing a benefit. If you think of like sous vide in a sense that we always worry about, is the quality of the meat going to be good? Is the quality of the cooking going to be there? So the ability to help from that perspective. And I think the big one that we should be paying attention to, and I think that's going to take off, is major appliance companies. If you haven't been tracking what they're doing, they are the ones that are really going to lead smart to the next level. And here's what I mean. In today's environment, you can now order a whole kitchen set that solves one of the number one pain points that we have for dinners. Every mom here, and you tell me if you're wrong, the family, your husband or the kids go, "What's for dinner tonight?" And every time you hear that, there's a party that goes, I hate that, right?
Yeah.
And we know that the answer is, if they're not going to go out, which is not often, they're going to say, what's in the pantry? What do I have on hand? Almost 60% of the time, that's the driver for what I have for dinner. Well, what the majors are able to do is to say, I can tell you what you have on hand, and with what you have on hand, based on what you guys usually eat, here's all the things you can do. And they're even doing guided cooking and going through it. So they're utilizing those items. They made another, I worry about using stuff before it goes bad. I don't want to waste money.
That's me all the time.
So they can say, well, these things are going to go bad, and based off what you eat, here's what you can.
By the way, that's genius for bachelors, okay? Yeah. Speaking as one, I don't know what's in there. I have no idea. Can you tell me what I can make? Oh my goodness, I had no idea I could make that.
Well, in addition to that, it's not only your favorite foods, but it can inspire new recipes. So if you're a new mom and a new cook, you're developing your cooking repertoire. And so it's helping guide and inspire in that area. So in essence, the smart is really helping enable and solving that pain point. What do I make for dinner? Now what they're doing is they're also making it so, compared to 2-3 years ago, now it's being part of an open platform. So even our products that we make, we have to realize it works. If I'm making Thanksgiving dinner, I got so much stuff I'm making, they all got to work together.
Right.
So it's not just about an app. Like we used to think, well, it's just about an app. I don't care about an app, but I do care that I get all the dinner done at the same time to a great quality, that it's easy to prepare, cook, eat, and clean up.
And that's a difficult thing, because there are so many different ecosystems, and how do they work together?
Absolutely, and so that's a big part of what we do. So it's changing the framework of smart from being a benefit in an app to really saying it's a reason to believe, and how does it fit in the bigger need of dinner, breakfast, cleaning the house, managing the environment. How does it fit into that? What's the overall need?
People want. Yeah. And you're seeing all that data, right?
Yep.
So do you think there's an issue, though, with the price for consumers? When this smart stuff becomes more and more available, I think consumers sometimes think like, well, yeah, but that's really expensive, and this is super dumb, but cheap.
Well, I think it's one of those things that we always got to manage. Going back to the food industry, they used to always say, well, I want to sell healthy, and they would sell senior management on the idea, I can charge more. And then it would fail, and I go, well, it's the consumer. No, the marketing fundamentals of the 4 Ps still apply, even to smart. So with that, the advantage we have is our industry's been growing now 5 straight years. Kitchen electrics grew double digits, home environment grew double digits last year. So we're in a point where it's hot, and because of the economy, the indicators have been favorable for the most part, that consumers are willing to pay for value. They will pay for a benefit to a point. If I'm replacing something that's $20 and the smart thing is $1,000, no,
it's gonna happen.
But if I'm replacing something that's $100 and the smart is, I don't know what, $120, okay.
Yeah.
That's within spitting distance. It's got to be something that is realistic to the benefit. So will they pay for it as our industry is doing? Well, we're eating more at home, so that's causing a benefit. Economic conditions are favorable, the employment, consumer confidence. So as that's good, people are willing to pay for value, and it's not about lowest price. And knowing that eating at home is so much cheaper than eating out, you could justify a higher expense to a degree. So it's one of those things, will they pay for it? Yes, to a degree.
And you're getting all this data. Do you see the major appliance people like looking at smart and just implementing it and then actually getting positive results, like those prices?
They're just at the beginning phases. So
Okay.
there are ones too that are, their pricing's a little high, so it's going to take a few years to come down to the masses.
Yeah.
But in reality, it has to come back down. So all of these things, the consumer isn't going to go, I'm going to pay more because it's smart. But what they will say, man, this is such a pain in the butt, and this solves it.
Yeah.
I will use it. And I'll give you an example. Even oral care, you're seeing a lot of times smart will be playing in there that you get. Like any mom has a struggle making sure, does my kid brush their teeth right? Is there a need? And if you can sit there and say, you know what, I've got a way that my child will brush their teeth, have a ball, and be proud to show you how they did, every mom's, yeah. So I got to pay an extra 20, 30 bucks? Okay. Like, it's not about money, it's about the end frustration that we're doing.
And that's great that you get to talk to all these companies and explain this data to them so they can be better and innovate. Yeah. Anything else you want to touch base on smart homes in general and what you're seeing at the NPD?
Well, I think the big thing that I want to communicate to all of us as part of this is, again, we got to think beyond an app. And so to really be successful, we have to stop that. We have to focus on what is the I wish, I hate we're solving. Then we have to make sure that we're building a mechanism that communicates from the product back to us too. So we understand usage and we can understand and tailor the product to the future usage and use that inspiration for new innovation. We also have to make sure that it is dummy proof, for lack of a better word. If there's a software update, if my iPhone gets an update, whatever the case, there's always that interaction that happens. Make it so the consumer doesn't have to hire an IT department to fix it to make your product work. And that infrastructure is still being built. We got to get a little bit better on that end. But make it so that any updates and any evolution is just automatic for the consumer. They don't have to worry about it. It's not just yours, because you're a part of a larger ecosystem. If somebody else makes an adjustment, you've got to fit with it. I would make sure you're part of an open platform. I would make sure you have the ability to be voice activated, because that will help be part of that open platform. And the consumer's expectation on voice activation is just coming across all products. And so we've got to be thinking about that. And ultimately, we just got to make sure that this is easy to use. We've got to make it. I don't want to buy a product and then 8 months from now it's obsolete because I don't know how to make it work.
Or its ecosystem doesn't work anymore, it's gone. Right. I think that's one thing I was going to bring up is the tech evolving. We feel like in this gray area at times, where there's a lot of great ideas and great innovation, it's just not matched the tech. Right. Because there is that update to my phone. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to do the toaster.
Right.
And I have an update on my iPhone.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that, or would you agree with me that a lot of that's going to happen as technology evolves?
I think so, and as more and more people, and they realize it. Think of bathroom scales. Those did so well initially when the Fitbits and those things came out, and then suddenly there's an update and it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And so
I'm 1,000 pounds, what?
Well,
okay, well, I never said that.
But those things kind of work out there. So it's really getting us to make sure that it's solving the need and the product will last the lifetime that it's expected to last.
Yep.
I also think we're on the forefront of so many innovations if we think about that, how it can solve. I'm trying to live a healthy life, so how can I manage my nutrients? I'm trying to live a keto diet, how can I manage it? There's ways that people can use a technology to help solve the frustrations of the change in behavior we do.
Yep. That is great, Joe. Does anybody have any questions real quick before we close her up? Questions to the audience? Nope. Joe, thanks so much for being here.
Hey,
I learned a lot.
I appreciate
Everybody give applause for Joe.
Thank you guys too for all you do.
Thank you for you being a data nerd.
Yeah, that's good.